Hello.
Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol is one of the most beloved stories of the Christmas season. As we know, this story centres around a miserly old man named Ebenezer Scrooge. But did Dickens base his character on a real person? According to research, it appears he took inspiration from two sources for this character he describes as a squeezing, retching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. Well, that's quite an intro. Our story starts in Edinburgh's Canongate Kirkyard in June 1841. This churchyard was used for burials from the late 1680s until the mid-20th century. The most celebrated burials at the kirkyard are the economist Adam Smith and the poet Robert Fergusson, but many other notable people were interred in the cemetery. It has been claimed that David Rizzio, the murdered private secretary of Mary Queen of Scots, lies here, although it's highly unlikely that an Italian Catholic would be reinterred in a Protestant graveyard years after his death. Back to the story. Enjoying a stroll through the kirkyard, Charles Dickens apparently stumbled upon the tombstone of an Ebenezer Lennox Scrooge. The inscription indicated Scrooge's profession as a meal man, that's meal with an L, and denoting his role as a merchant. However, Dickens, in a curious misinterpretation, read it as a mean man, an error that found its way into his notebook with the reflection, "To be remembered through eternity only for being mean seemed the greatest testament to a life wasted." Yet Dickens' assessment couldn't have been more misguided. Research conducted by political economist Peter Clarke reveals that Scrooge was, in fact, a corn trader and vintner. His family had even supplied Captain Cook's ship Endeavour during its Pacific voyages. Engaged in importing wine in bulk and exporting whisky, Scrooge garnered a stellar reputation, securing royal patronage and serving 2 years at Edinburgh's Lord Provost. Described as a jovial scallywag, he once disrupted the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland by playfully goosing the Countess of Mansfield. Notably, Scrooge's life had its shadows, including an alleged liaison resulting in an illegitimate child with one of his servants, a departure from the expected behaviour of Dickens Scrooge, at least before the transformative visitations. Regrettably, the gravestone was lost during the kirkyard's restoration in 1932. However, efforts are underway to commemorate Scrooge's life by erecting a memorial, shedding light on his literary influence and dispelling the misconceptions created by Dickens' inadvertent misreading. Another probable source of inspiration for the character of Scrooge is believed to be John Elwes, the Member of Parliament for Berkshire. Born into a prestigious and wealthy family renowned for their extreme frugality, despite being categorized as a miser, Elwes exhibited an unexpected blend of affability, consideration, and occasional generosity with his wealth. Charles Dickens likely became acquainted with Elwes through Topham's biography, Life of the Late John Elwes, a bestseller that underwent 12 editions. This work solidified Elwes the miser as the quintessential penny pincher, depicting a man who voluntarily forwent earthly comforts, choosing to walk home in the rain rather than pay for a coach and enduring wet clothes. Astonishingly, Elwes, the inheritor of an estate valued at over 18 million in today's money from his uncle, exemplified self-denial rather than hard-heartedness. In a departure from the stereotypical miser, Elwes displayed a certain amiability, consideration, and a penchant for lending money to those in need. According to Topham, his avarice stemmed not from callousness, but from an unusual form of self-denial. Upon his death in 1789, Elwes bequeathed the equivalent of over 28 million to his children. While Dickens had previously explored the archetype of the miser in characters like Gabriel Grubb from the Pickwick Papers, the name Scrooge has since become synonymous with a selfish, miserly individual. However, it's noteworthy that Dickens concluded A Christmas Carol on a note of optimism. Merry Christmas!